Hey guys, welcome back to Magic TV. My name's Craig. It's 9 o'clock, which means it's time for another video. And this is the run up to Blackpool in just a few days' time. We are going to be at the Blackpool Magic Convention. And on the run up to Blackpool, I'm speaking to the movers and shakers, the dealers, the producers, the people that everybody wants to spend time looking at. Why bother going to a lecture when you can go and spend money at the dealers? And I'm only speaking to the best dealers that are going to be there. And this is the best of the best. I have on here with me today a personal friend. I love this guy to bits. He is one of the best creators, one of the best producers of magic. He's somebody who doesn't release every single brain fart he gets like me. Instead, he just brings the best of the best out. He's full Penn and Teller. He is a top performer, a top creator. There's nothing this man can't do. And at Blackpool this year, he's bringing fish. You'll find out in a minute exactly what I'm talking about. Many people voted the trick that he led with last year as the trick of the convention, including me. I am, of course, talking about the one and only living legend himself, Mr. John Morton. How you doing, John?
That's a hell of an intro, mate. It just rolls off the tongue for you, doesn't it? I don't know how you do that.
I had to spend hours practicing it before we came.
I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised. Yeah.
No, in all seriousness, mate, it's true. You, you know, what I love about the stuff that you bring out is most of it, not all of it, but most of it, you can't get anywhere else. It doesn't go through Murphy's. It's very custom made. You'll have very limited units of stuff, which means that if you buy something, it's going to be very unique to your show. And the other thing is everything that you bring out, it's practical. It's not difficult. It's easy, which means that you can focus on presentation, and it's always super clever and genuinely. And I've said this before on this channel, I'll say it again. Whenever I'm in a situation where I need help with something, which is quite frequently, there's only four people there's five people I call on. Seriously, I've got my five people, and it's Lloyd Barnes, it's Phil Smith, it's Drew Perry, it's you, and it's Russ Brown. Those are the five people.
That's good company to be in. Very good company to be in.
Yeah, like genuinely, because
I don't think there's anything that lot couldn't fix, especially when you've got Drew in there.
Yeah, well, Drew can make anything, right?
Yeah, and Phil can design anything. So yeah, it's a good mix.
But you know, probably the first person I'll speak to is you. You've got such a great mind for coming up with incredible methods, and you've been going to the Blackpool convention as a dealer for years and years and years, and always the thing that you bring is the thing that everybody kind of just goes, oh wow, that's amazing. Right back for, I think the first time I ever saw
It's Twins was the first major one that sort of like hit the market. I think that was the first year I ever did Blackpool, actually.
But even before you did it as a dealer, I remember the first time your name coming up on my radar was when World Magic Shop had the exclusive.
With the icon. Yes.
That took the community by storm. Everybody was wanting to go over and see that. And I hadn't heard of you. Dave Penn had told me about you.
Yeah, we were on the stand together, I remember. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And then he's like, you've got to see this. You've got to see this. And I saw it. I was like, that's amazing. And ever since then, everything that you've brought out has just been brilliant. Absolutely brilliant.
Yes, mate, I appreciate it. There's a lot of thought goes into it. That's because I set myself so many rules. It has to be simple, has to be no memory work, all these kind of things that, so you can concentrate on presentation. That's the whole sort of key to it, really. And sometimes it means I can't bring stuff out, or I end up giving it to somebody else if it's like that, because it doesn't fit what my customer base will expect me to do. If I brought out something really knuckle busting that had tons of memory work, nobody would buy it, and I destroy my reputation. So if I end up with things like that, I usually give it to somebody else who does that kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't do it.
Yeah, it's so smart. And excuse me, last year you brought out the Imposter, which
little thing here.
The Imposter, and that is many people's trick of the convention. The amount of people that were walking around with tubes in their pocket after. Didn't you sell out on like day one or something?
We sold out on Friday, yeah. We only had, I think we had, well, we thought we had 50, but then we made some up last minute. So we had just shy of 100, I think, and they all went by Friday, yeah. It was mad. The rush for them was crazy. A lot of people taking two, and people buying them for their friends. Yeah, it was nuts.
It's brilliant, and you know I've seen Matt perform to 100 people with it and absolutely kill with it. I think one of the reasons I loved it so much, and I put it really high up on my list of the best tricks of last year, is because it's one of those tricks that you can walk out onto a stage of 100 people, 200 people, 300 people, and with nothing in your pocket but a tube and a few pieces of, a few straws inside it, you can do this 10-minute piece. But also, it's perfect to do in a walk around situation. You can do it mix and mingle and still get the same. And there's very few tricks like that, John. There's very few tricks that will
Mm.
work to 500 people and it'll work to 3 or 4 people in a close up gig as well.
Yeah, you're right. There is only a few tricks that'll do that. They'll transfer big in really big on stage. And you tend to find I've had a lot of people message me that do it close up. But then I've also had quite a lot of people message me and say they do it stage. I must say, I do it more stage than I do close up, weirdly enough. Although that might be about to change with what's coming out this year. So yeah, it's a good little thing, and we've improved it. I think, I believe we've improved it.
Well, before we actually talk about what's new on the stand this year and what the new things are you bringing out, do you have any of your old classics, or and not even that old? Like, I mean, obviously, Imposter came out last year. I know you've got the improvement. Will the original Imposter be there? You know, you've got your one of the other tricks that everybody was raving about at the convention last year was the logo deck.
Yeah,
You know,
we sold out of the logo deck at Blackpool. I think I had 2 left after Blackpool, and they were for pre-orders for people online. And I haven't had it back in stock since. Until now, it's back.
oh,
And again, I only have 50 units. So there's only ever been 100 of these ever made. So I have 50 units. Actually, no, I don't, because 2 of them I owe to people. So there's 48 units of those. And I have 48 units of the Lego deck as well, which I know you know very well because you did the instructions on both of these. So there will be 48 of each of those, and that's it. And I probably won't get them back in again until the following Blackpool, because I don't tend to order them in all the time, because you have to order so many in to make it even viable to do, because they're so expensive, because they're on the top quality card stock.
these cards are brilliant. For anybody who doesn't know what they are, the Guess the Logo deck, who knew? I think it's called.
Yeah, guess the logo. Yeah, brand
Yeah,
new. You came up with the
brand
name.
new, brand new. Yeah, brand new. It's it's brilliant because you've got a deck of cards with logos on them,
Yeah,
and it's marked in such a way. Just there it is.
on the back, you have a marking system on the back, which is incredibly easy to see. Very easy. Well, both of them are. The Lego and the logo deck are designed in such a way that the marking system it's so quick to see it. You know,
both amazing decks.
Yeah,
really...
I use the Lego deck every single gig. I actually use it more than I do the logo deck. The reason the logo deck exists is because I brought the Lego deck out first, as you know, partly down to Ryland, and then at that Blackpool that I brought that out, people said, "Could you do a grown-up version that we could do at corporates?" And that's why the logo deck came out. So, and the logo decks sold faster actually than the Lego deck did weirdly. So yeah, it's just another, and it is a real game. There's a game built into it, so you can actually play it with your family as a game. The instructions are in there. Yeah, it's just.
And there's some great tricks on both of those. I put the routines together. There's some great tricks on both of those.
Yeah, and I tend to do the same routine with both of them actually, which is I do it with 3 people where they each take a card. They choose one that they like. Because this one's got, they've both got a stack to them. I don't use them in stack. I just let them do whatever they want with it. And then in the process of them putting them back into the deck, I'll get the 3 peaks. And then I do the old, that you came up with this on, again, on one of your routines where you name the colour that they're thinking of. And then I usually take what genre the character is and then name the character. And I do that for both of them. With the logos, I do imagine there's a shop with the logo above it and think of the colours and go down that line with it. So yeah, so both of those will be back. Twins will be back.
Which is the easiest and most deceptive witch hand routine.
Yeah. I'll have a handful, and I mean only a handful of baby books. I've got the Christmas one, and I'll have the original one. I haven't got the blue one with me. If anybody wants the blue one, they need to message me and I'll order it. The blue sport one, it's funny because people do ask me for it occasionally, but it's not one of those ones I do very often. There is a couple of other things that I can't talk about yet because they may or may not be a Blackpool. But they're only a small sort of cheap product.
One of them, I don't want you to undersell. I know you don't want to talk about it because it might not be there, but the one that you just mentioned with,
yeah,
I will go over to your stand and buy 3 of those immediately. I think that's a brilliant idea.
yeah, that could be a really good one. It just depends if I've got the time and the materials turn up in time.
I think if you have got the time, I think that has a chance, if you bring it out, of being that trick that everyone's doing at the Ruskin. I could see them all doing it to each other.
Yeah, I can as well. It's just a case of whether or not I've got the time to do it, and I don't want to rush it. If it's not quite right, it won't come out because it's got my name on it, and if it's got my name on it, it has to be right. Yeah. So that it'll just be a case of if it'll either come, I'll build it. If it works and it looks good, great. If it doesn't, then it won't come out, and it might come out next year, or it might not ever come out at all. We'll just have to see. It's one of those. So yeah, we'll just have to see on that one. I don't know yet. I don't know. And I've got a card trick that, as a packet trick that I was supposed to bring out last Blackpool called Raffles, and I didn't get the instructional video done for it. And at the moment, I still haven't done the instructional video for it. So I might, if I ever get around to that, that might be on the stand as well. Again, it's just a £10 packet trick. It won't be anything dear. It homages back to a friend who used to be at our Grimsby Circle years and years ago. It's a bit of a homage to him. He's no longer with us, but it would be quite nice to keep his name alive. So that's why it's on there. So yeah, and then we've got Fish and we've got the improvements to Imposter, really. That's the other thing. And there is one we don't talk about that's under the table that it's... I always have something under my desk, under the table at Blackpool, that people have to ask me for. And if they ask me for it, I'll show them it. And if they don't ever get to find out if it was ever there. And I've had that repeatedly for the last few years. And this year there will be another one of those. But it will only be really for the bizarrists that will be interested in it. I don't think anybody else will be interested in it. But if you're a bizarrist and you want to see something that's not officially out, come and see me and I'll show you what it is.
Okay, that's
you have to use the code word Matchbox. You have to ask me what the Matchbox is. Okay. I don't work for myself, but loads of people asking me what the Matchbox is now.
Yeah, you just have people constantly going,
yeah, what's the Matchbox? Yeah.
Oh, that sounds exciting. Now, talk to me. You've alluded, before we talk about Fish, you've alluded to improvements on Imposter. Now, just to give people a frame of reference, if they don't know what Imposter is and why it was so good, Imposter is basically, it looks like a little cardboard tube. I know it's changed now. It's a little cardboard tube. It's got like 5 straws in it.
Yeah.
One of them has a red end. The other ones have black ends. And it's basically a little bit like is it Kurosake?
Yeah, Max Craven's Kurosake routine. Yeah. Black ball, white ball thing.
What's great about it is you can literally put the tube behind your back. Each person can take a tube. You genuinely aren't feeling anything or whatever the case may be. They can take any one. You can be blindfolded if you wanted to be. And then immediately on turning around, you just put the tube away or give it to someone. It doesn't really matter. And at that point, you know who's got the red thing. So you can do a very quick thing and go, well, it's you if you haven't got much time. If you're performing it on stage and you're a master of waffly bollocks, you can do what Matt does and make 20 minutes out of it. You can have it fits with so many different presentations, but it is, and I've said this on camera, it is the best version of Kurosake that I've ever seen. It's definitely the most practical. It just fits in a jacket pocket. It's the best method. It's the best. It's the safest. It's the most reliable method I've seen. It's the most practical. And it lends itself to more presentations than having a bag with balls in and stuff. It's brilliant. No electronics, nothing to go wrong. Works every time. Instant reset, examinable, no angles, no tables. Works for all ages. It is amazing. How in God's green earth can you improve on that, John?
Well, the nice thing with it as well is if they take it out and then put it back in again, you know they put it back in again as well. That was the other thing that which, because on electronic versions, that can screw you up. With this, it doesn't. So the way I've improved it, I have. So the problem with the Imposter, these tubes were ridiculously expensive. I mean, like stupid expensive, and I had to buy. I think it was like 200 or 300. And the price, you wouldn't believe the price of these cardboard tubes. And because they're cardboard, we had to have a plastic. I got a plastic armored casing for it to protect the cardboard. And one or two people at the time said to me they'd started trying to use the tube, but it didn't quite work because of the way the method works, because this is just a flat bottom. So here's the new one. This is 3D printed, but it's not your standard 3D printing. So your standard 3D printing, you often see the lines where it's been 3D printed. This has got like a flock effect on it that my 3D printer guy managed to do. So it has a flock effect on it. It works exactly the same way as the other Imposter. It's got a little red dot on it. Again, it's made of the same stuff as the armored casing was, which means now this little tube, that's with a little bit, that's your Imposter sorted. It fits the same size as the cardboard one, but you now don't need to take the armored case one as well, because this does everything in one go. So that's pretty much the two of them side by side. If you had the armored case and that was in your bag, well, now that's in your bag, so it's a lot smaller. So that's the first thing, but that's not the big leap.
Okay.
The big leap is something that a few people asked me about, and I'd already had the idea of, and weirdly enough, I'd crossed that idea out and gone with the straws, and that was to use it with Sharpies.
Wow.
So this is the new one. So it comes actually with an extra pen as well. So if I take this out, the whole thing, if you want to see it size comparison wise, I'll show you what it looks like. It's a little bit bigger, obviously, because it's got that. That's the size comparison between the two. I don't think you can see that on camera. So it's a little bit bigger, but not loads. Okay.
Yep.
What this enables you to do, it works exactly the same way as the others do. We've got 5 black Sharpies in there, and I don't know which one the blue one is. So you hold it like so, and that's the black one, that's the black one, that's the black one, that's the black one. Oh, look at that. That's the red one. The last one was the red one. If I put this down here, I'll show you. Inside, the cap is red. So on stage, if you're using this for stage, that's so much more visual than the dot on the end.
Yeah.
Because what I normally do in my routine is I'll have 2 people up, the last 2 people will be like this, and I'll be like, I think this one's the murderer, I think this one's the innocent one. On the count of 3, both pull the caps off, they both pull off, and it's obvious that they're the murderer because the red one stands out. So that's what this one does. The other pen that comes with it, just purely because I wanted to make it something for close-up as well, and I thought if you do it close-up and they take the cap off, you're going to obviously see the red part. So it also comes with a black one that looks black, but the ink is red. So now what you can do if you're doing this close-up, you have this one instead of the red one in there. They all take a pen. They all can open it up, and they can draw a little cross or dot or whatever on their palm, and only that person that sees the red ink will know they're the murderer, because there's nothing that gives it away. So it was just an additional thing.
Clever. That's so clever.
That's what I did it for. The other thing you can do with the extra pen, if you don't want to do it, if you're more of a stage worker, and this is a Matt Cluley idea, okay? Matt does the version of Sneak Thief that I use with the foam boards. And what we discovered, or what Matt came up with, so I'm giving him the credit on this one, is that you could do Imposter with the Sharpies with the red one, so not with the black one. But what you do is you change this ink, the black one, to the back to black ink. Okay, so it just looks and works like a black Sharpie. No, sorry, no, you wouldn't. No, you wouldn't. Tell a lie. You would use the one that's red. Hang on, let me take a shot. It's that one, right? Okay. So what you do is you take this one, and you change the ink to black. Okay. Which is very simple to do. It just breaks like a normal Sharpie. You just change the tip and the cap on it, okay? And what they'll do there is so the murderer knows who he is, okay, from the red. He knows he's the murderer from the red cap, right? You give them all a board in Sneak Thief order, those that know Sneak Thief will know what that means. Okay. And then with their back to the audience, they all draw the murder weapon. Okay, so then all the boards are mixed up face down. And then no, sorry, I don't do that. So all the boards are mixed face down. You can then not only figure out whose murder weapon is whose in the lineup, you can then do a pseudo thing on it. What Matt will make about an hour or three out of this. You'll like this. Or about how the drawing gives away the fact that he's the murderer, and then he can reveal that he's the murderer. So it adds another sort of level to it, if you want, which that routine will be included in the write-up, the additional for this. So you'll get the original instructions for the original Imposter, and then there'll be an additional if you've got the Sharpie one, telling you how to do the different routines with it, with the Sharpie one. That'll all be together on one thing.
That's brilliant.
Yeah.
That's absolutely brilliant.
So that's essentially what you'll get with that. And like I say, it all comes in this case. Again, it's armored quality plastic. It ain't going to break unless you jump up and down it. It's not going to break. And they'll all come together in the one case. So you've got the whole lot. They all fit in one case. And that'll just throw in your bag. That way I want to go the other way up. That way to do it. And they'll all just fit in your bag. And that's basically a stage show or a close-up thing. You'll do both. So that's the difference. That one's going to work out £65. The smaller one works out at £45.
That's brilliant. Have you ever considered? Obviously, with that, you've got one Sharpie, and you immediately know who's got the red Sharpie. Instead of having one red Sharpie and the rest black, have you ever thought about having the one Sharpie thin? Like, Sharpies can be sort of thicker or thinner. So they all apparently are the same. And you could also have like 5 pieces of paper. They've all got a business card. They all take a Sharpie. They all think of a name or something that they want to call themselves, their murderer name. They all write it down. And when you take them back, it would just look like 5 black pens that are written on 5 pieces of card. But because you know that one's written thinner than the other one's, a thin point marker instead of a thick point marker, you immediately know.
They know who the murderer is. They know who they are,
exactly, yeah.
If anybody ever wants to do that with a fine Sharpie, if they get a hold of me, it'll be one because we'd have to make the pen different. It's possible. The hardest part with it is them thin ones that have the really fine tips on them tend to have a different casing, so they don't look the same as a normal Sharpie. So it might stand out because of that. But you could definitely do that routine with the red ink, with the one that looks black but just has red ink in it. You could definitely do that routine. I like the idea of doing the murder name. I think that's a really good one. It's a bit like when people come up with their own porn star name. It's that kind of.
That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
That's brilliant. Well. That's brilliant. That's brilliant. I think a lot of people that have already got Imposter will get that because they'll know that's brilliant. Brilliant. And Matt's idea is really, really good. It's a smart guy, that Matt.
He is. Yeah, there's a reason you took him on.
Maybe.
That guy comes up with some amazing routines. He really does.
He's great.
He really does. We're going to call that Sneaky Imposter. And that routine will be, I will write that routine up and we will put it on. I think Matt's actually going to film it too at Blackpool. He's doing the Russ Brown's night, I think, isn't he, one night? And I think he's going to do Sneaky Imposter that night.
Oh, brilliant. Oh, that's brilliant. Brilliant. Yeah. He's doing it on the Monday night and the after show.
Yeah, so we're gonna film. He's gonna film that for us, and so there will be some footage go up afterwards as well of the actual routine.
Brilliant. That's brilliant.
That's great.
So you've got the original Imposters, you've got the updated Imposter, both of which are killer. That's a really good price as well.
The cardboard one is essentially being retired because I've only got maybe 4 or 5 left of them, and when they're gone, they're gone. So they probably won't be there at Blackpool. If they are, it'll just be what's left. The plastic ones, the feedback from the plastic ones that people that have seen it absolutely love it. And I think it's just the practicality side of it more than anything. It was the only way to keep it alive too. I couldn't keep doing it with the cardboard tubes. It would have gone so expensive. It just wouldn't have been worth it, if you know what I mean. And I don't want to do that to my customers.
I totally get it. And then you got Fishion 50, which is, and I will tell people this, this has gone into my illusion show. So I do an illusion show with Matt.
Mhm.
And it's hard to crack that illusion show. I've been doing it for like 20 years. It's very hard to put anything new into there. But
Yeah.
we added that leading into the masterpiece. We did it for the first time at Newmarket when you were there, but we've done it since then quite a few times. And this is brilliant. This is absolutely brilliant. And I'll tell you how good this is. I know you're very good friends with Luca Volpe.
Yeah.
And Luca's amazing.
Yes, he is.
And Matt is very selective about the material that he does when he's performing on stage. And for the longest while, he did Psychology by Luca, but he's actually kind of retired that now to do this instead.
Well, I think he'll always use Psychology for things where he needs to give stuff away, like he did the vape gig recently.
Yeah.
And I've still got Psychology myself. I still think it's an awesome product.
Oh, it is. Don't get me wrong, it's amazing.
It's a really, really great product. This is, well, this was just my take on a few things. It was my take on Psychology. It's also my take on a bank night routine. So it's got a bit of all sorts in there, really. I'm not really taking any credit for the method, because the method's as old as the hills, and there are some really good, like, portable versions of this. What it was is I made this for myself in the year, and I did what I always do. I posted a picture on Facebook to inspire people, and I got a load of people asking if they could buy it. And the answer was no at the time, because I was doing it. I was working it. It's the opener to my stage show. I do a witch hand routine with everybody first, which then cuts it down the audience, and 2 questions cuts the audience down to literally a handful of people, and then we play this game with it. And the idea is, in each of the envelopes, and there's a part, it comes fully scripted with the witch hand routine and with the fish routine, because the scripting is really important, I think. And obviously the idea is they choose an envelope, and the envelope will either have a fish or it'll have a card that says £50. So this one's got a fish. So in this case, they would win a fish, basically. It used to be, it used to use the mind reading fish, you know, the fortune telling ones.
Yes.
But for stage, this is so much better. And the
it's
weird thing is, when Matt did it at the convention that night, something happened that I wasn't expecting, and that was that people wanted to win the fish, which was really odd, because I wasn't expecting that, because obviously it's the booby prize. It's based on the old thing that you used to get in fairgrounds, where you get a goldfish in a bag, and which would be completely impractical, because then you'd have to rush home before the water ran out of the bag, and then you didn't have a fish tank, so you have to chuck it in something else just to keep it alive. So it's based on that. And of course, I'm from Grimsby, and Grimsby is where all the fish come from. So it's just tied in with, for me, it was just a funny gag at the time. But what you can do with it, something that Matt said on that night, is he said, do you want to name the fish?
Oh, okay. So he does, obviously, I see him do this. He does this now at the illusion show. So yeah, he gets them to name the fish. And then later on in the show, he does the master prediction system.
Yeah.
There's this whole story about we're going to create a memory, where we're going to go, what we're going to do, you know, all of these different things. And then when he does the master prediction system, he opens it up and it's like, we're going to go here, we're going to do this activity, we're going to bump into this celebrity, we're going to be dancing the night away to this song. And at the end, it says, and you're bringing your fish, blah.
Yeah.
Brings the house down.
Which is a great way to do it. Yeah, it's just a great callback to the very start, or wherever you're doing it. I mean, I do it, like I say, it's, for me, it's my opener. So it's just a nice little routine, and it comes with a beautiful prop that all rolls together. It comes in a case sort of yay long. It's about the size of a roller banner case,
pull-up banner type thing. Yeah,
it's a little bit wider, but not much, just purely because it comes with the mic stand that it basically connects to. It'll fit to any mic stand. So if you're a cruise ship worker and you didn't want to take the mic stand, you could just take the banner, and it'll just screw onto any, because the attachment that's on there will attach to any mic stand, no matter what size screw it's got to it. That's personally why I did it. And the rest of it all falls flat. So it goes really small. So it's practical for, you know, it would go in a case, essentially. So yeah, it's a practical little thing, but it looks good on stage. It comes with a little shelf that goes on the back of the mic stand. Now on mine that I use in my show, I actually have 2 on mine. And the reason I have that is because when I'm on stage, I want my stage to keep clean. Now, David Penn taught me this years and years ago, try and keep your stage as clean as possible. So when I'm on stage for a 45-minute stage show, on one side of the stage, I have Fishion 50, and on the other side of the stage, I have my emotion box on its spider table, and that's it. But all my props for the rest of the show, so my Imposter, I have some lanyards that go on them. I have an Oscar that I give out to somebody for bad acting. I have a book test, and I have a couple of other small props. They all go on the little shelves behind the banner, which means now I can literally walk on stage, put the Fishion 50 down if it's not already on stage, and my entire act is hidden behind this banner. So the stage looks really clean. And I think that's something that a lot of people don't think about when they do these shows. And you see like a million tables dotted around, and each one's got a different trick on it. Well, with this, because you could put more shelves than two if you want. I just personally have two on it. It just keeps your stage clean as well as being practical as an actual act. You know, so it serves two purposes. Whenever I bring anything out, I always try and sort of solve a problem. You know, something that sometimes exists in different things. And for me, it was the fact that it can hide the rest of my show without having, you know, the old suitcase on a table or whatever behind the banner. It just makes it look so much cleaner.
That's great. It looks really good. It really does. And for the people that are asking, you're giving away the fish. Those fish aren't that expensive to get. You get a few of them with it, but
Yeah, you get
expensive.
3 fish with it, and I'll give you a link. I mean, you just have to Google them, to be honest.
Well, thanks to you, my warehouse is now
about £1 each.
Thanks to you, my warehouse is now full of fucking fish. All of Matt's fish.
Yeah, Matt said he'd ordered a load. Yeah. Yeah, because it's one of those things you're just going to end up giving out, and for about £1 each, it's worth it. You know, I tend to give 3 out because I end up with doing it 3 people the way I script it. So I give 3 fish out each time. It's nothing. £3 to do an act. It's nothing, is it? When you're doing a stage show, it really isn't. Cost it in if you're really worried. You know, add that extra £3 on the fee. It'll look a bit odd, but you can do it.
That's amazing, man. That's amazing.
But I've only got 8 of them at Blackpool.
That's insane. They will sell within 20 minutes.
Quite possibly, yeah. I don't think they'll go beyond Friday dinner. I really don't.
It's rare to find a trick that packs as small as that does, but plays as big as it does as well. It's a little bit like Imposter in that it packs small, plays big, but unlike Imposter, that kind of fills the whole stage. It looks really intriguing. It really does.
Well, it's all part of a project that I'm working on, so that either next year or the year after, there'll be an opener, there'll be a closer, there'll be everything. So you could basically just buy a stage show and just go out and work it if you wanted to, you know, fully scripted. So the big one will be next year, which will be the thing that's going to rock the world, which is something I'm doing with my friend who's just behind the camera here, Mr. Tom Wright. We're currently sat, by the way, in Tom Wright's bar here, the Cup and Sorcerer. Do you want to come and say hello? Come and say hello. This is where we tend to brainstorm stuff constantly.
Actually, I need another beer, so
there you go, Mr. Tom Wright, who will be in Blackpool doing his show.
Well, that's the other thing that I was going to say that you're doing, John. You're taking Tom's show. I mean, Tom is the only person ever that's been invited back to perform.
Yes, indeed.
In a row, ever.
Crazy.
Never. I mean, your show, and it's because so many people were pissed off that they didn't get to see you the first time.
Yeah.
So they're putting you in a bigger room, giving you more seats, and getting you to do it again. I'm excited, man. I know.
Very nerve-wracking. So yeah, it's gonna be good. I'm excited.
It will be good. It will be good.
I'm really looking forward to it. It's gonna be good.
Yeah, he's got me backstage doing whatever he needs me to do, basically. You know, so I'm going to be sort of like helper man for the day. So basically, he's gopher for the night.
Why not? Why not?
Yeah, I mean, I've only been on the stand all day, demming for 2 days straight beforehand. You know, I'll be all right. Yeah, I'll be all right. You know, so if the end of his show goes badly, it's because I'm asleep backstage.
That's correct.
At least we'll know. At least we'll know the reason why now.
Yes, it'll be my fault.
I've got to ask you one more thing, John. Because I know that people are going to ask in the comments, so I'm going to get it out of the way now. Are you going to have any icons?
There will be an icon on display, but they'll only be to order because I don't think I've got time to make one. It's as simple as that. I have got one that I can't sell because it's not mine. It's actually my father-in-law's. He performed it actually last night and absolutely killed with it. And he's going to lend me his. He's got all cartoon characters on it. It's a really quite funky one. So that will be on stage. I haven't even got one myself at the moment. And I'm only making probably 10 of those a year now. And there's always a waiting list. So I've got 3 people interested in them already. And I work with everybody whenever I make something. It's the same with this. Fishion 50, although it's in English here, and it'll be English at Blackpool, I'm already making one for somebody in Singapore and possibly somebody in German as well that will be translated into their language afterwards. So
Wow.
like everything with custom magic, if you want it and it's in a different language, or if you want different graphics, everything's changeable, you know.
It's amazing. That is amazing. Well, I fully expect your stand to be the destination for everybody that comes to Blackpool. It always is. Perhaps this year you can pull a Mark Mason. You can disappear like halfway through Sunday because you've sold everything.
That would be cool. That would be very cool. Yeah, we're in the same place as before. When you go in the big ballroom, if you head literally straight down the side, as if you're heading towards Matt Wright's corner, down there, we're on the first aisle opposite all the bars. I think we're about the 3rd one in, something like that, from that far end. Just look for the Custom Magic white banner. I'll be there anyway.
Like the Bob Swaddling area. That was where Bob used to be every year.
That's it. Yeah, it's that kind of area. Yeah, I need to get some nice black and red boxes, don't I?
Yeah,
that was his thing. Yeah, lovely black and red boxes. They were beautiful as well. All his stuff was top notch. So yeah, it's not a bad place to be.
Not. It's really not. Mate, you'll kill it. I know you will. You'll kill it. I mean, assuming people have got money when they get to you, because obviously to get to you, they've got to go past Mark Mason. So
that is true. That is true. Yeah,
that's the only negative of being there. But in all seriousness, you'll do amazing. I mean, I've been working Fishion 50. Well, I've been watching Matt work it. It's killer. Imposter is absolutely brilliant. Everything that you bring out is commercial. It's practical. It just works. That's the thing. It just works.
That's because it's all from my own working set.
And that's it. You don't bring anything out that you don't do yourself.
No. If I wouldn't do it myself, there's no point.
Well, I respect about you so much, John. I really do.
Yeah.
It's amazing. It's absolutely amazing. So make sure that if you're watching this, do 2 things. 1, make a beeline for John's stand. Don't make the mistake that everybody did last year. If you wanted Imposter, if you want something off John, it will sell out halfway through Friday. I said this to people last year. They didn't believe me. And then what happened? Everyone bitched and moaned that they didn't get what they wanted. So
we did have a lot on that on Saturday. Yeah. We had my one demo model and people offered me silly money for that. And I couldn't because I needed to demo it for the year. So, yeah, that will happen again, I think.
Will happen again. So go make a beeline for John's stand. Then go and check out Tom's show on the Saturday night.
Saturday night, 6:30 to... What is it, 6:30 and 9?
6:30 and then 9 o'clock.
Yeah.
It will be the best show at Blackpool. I know it will. There's not,
I don't know about that.
not going to be anything else that touches it. It is the show to see.
It is the show to have laugh out loud belly laughs. Yeah, it is really good.
So go. It will be amazing. Go see that. And if people aren't coming to Blackpool, John, and they want to contact you about getting all of this stuff, obviously a lot of your material doesn't go into Murphy's. They can't get it from their local magic store. You can't even buy stuff from your own website. There's no method.
No, it's a showroom site. They have to get hold of me. The quickest way to get hold of me is on Facebook Messenger, because I'm more likely to see that than I am my emails. They always go into the junk folder, so sometimes I miss them. So I end up having to fish through them. Fish through them. So if you definitely want to get hold of me quickly, get hold of me on Facebook via Messenger is the best way to do it. Or comment on one of the the posts about one of these Custom Magic or the Imposter group is the best way to do it. I am taking pre-orders for people not going to Blackpool. I've only got a handful of stock that I've kept back purposely for that. And that's nearly run out. I think I've only got maybe 5 or 6 left that I'm keeping, that I'm not taking to Blackpool with me, because we haven't got many for Blackpool anyway. Again, we'll have about sort of 50 maybe 60 if I take the extras. I'm not sure of each of them, so there's not going to be much of anything really. I think I've got about 50 of everything essentially, apart from the baby book. I've only got maybe 10 or 20 of them. So yeah, but if they do pre-order it because they're not going to Blackpool, then it will be sent out the week before Blackpool, so they'll get it roughly the same time as the Blackpool people. But they've nearly already gone. I put that on I put a little picture on. It was just a teaser actually on Imposter Group, and we sold nearly all of them in about half an hour.
Right.
So yeah, that's the thing. So I don't want to not have stock for Blackpool, so I've had to keep some back for that.
Wow, it's John's a little bit like the A-Team. If you can find him, then you can hire. That's the thing. So you know, you got to put a bit of an effort in to get a product off John, but it's worth it. John, thank you so much. Have a great time at Blackpool. I'm
Thank
sure
you for doing
I will
this.
see you there. And I'm looking forward to seeing you. I'm looking forward to seeing Tom's show. I know that you and Tom have worked very hard on that. Tom, you're going to kill it. I know you will.
Mate.
You always do. You're amazing. You're amazing. Brilliant.
Yes.
And I'll be back again tomorrow with another interview with another dealer. Until then, we're checking out of Tom Wright's bar. I'm going to leave these guys drinking. I'll see you again soon. I'm Craig, John, Tom. This is Magic TV.
Take care.